Give that man a Scooby snack. He deserves it. Scooby Wright strips Marcus Mariota and temporarily, or maybe permanently, knocks Oregon from the national championship race at Autzen Stadium. So Arizona defeats Oregon. Exciting Thursday night football, 31-24. So let's run down a few key plays in this game and then the ramifications going forward. So the Wildcats, for the second straight year, knock off the Ducks. They did it with Kadeem Carey running wild over Oregon in the desert last year, 42-16. Well, this one was much closer. The Ducks came in a 23.5-point favorite, and again, 31-24. Arizona wins it. So it was a low-scoring first half at 7-3, and the team started to move the football. So most notably, the Scooby Wright play, if you didn't see it, you have to watch it. You have to look it up. Marcus Mariota flushed from the pocket as he was all night. And the last game against Washington State, Oregon with some issues along the offensive front. They lost two key offensive linemen prior to the game against Wazoo, and it showed up against the Cougars. They survived that game despite 7 sacks. And in this game, Mariota harassed at times, flushed from the pocket, and 20 of 32. And if you know the type of production Mariota typically is involved in, that 20 of 32 seems like about 10 for 32 for most quarterbacks because he is razor sharp. So if you limit him to 20 completions and 32 attempts, that was huge in this football game. But Scooby Wright, the strip sack, and it wasn't a strip knocked to the ground type of sack. He just ripped it out, kept the football, rolled over, and he had it with about 2.5 minutes to play to stop the drive after Arizona had gone the length of the field. And Tony Washington, not James Washington, who played for the Dallas Cowboys and almost won a Super Bowl MVP in the early 90s. Tony Washington, man, this is difficult right here because he was called for the excessive celebration penalty after the Ducks had seemingly stopped Arizona on a third down play. And the celebration penalty as he ran off the field, he celebrated with his teammates, but he went down, took the bow, and I don't know how you feel about that. I do not like to see taunting in football, do not like to see ridiculous choreographed celebrations, do not like to see players drawing attention to themselves. That seemed to be subdued. If you're going to draw the line, it's very difficult to draw the line, so you have to put the clamps on excessive celebrations, period, and that was done there. So you can't fault the officials there. They went by the rule book. They were consistent because they had called it earlier in the game against Arizona, and so just difficult for the young man. Tony Washington, again, is a fifth-year senior, making that kind of mistake with the excessive celebration gives the Wildcats another chance. They had earlier converted on that final touchdown drive on a 3rd and 20. How'd they do it? They gave the football to their running back on the draw play, and their offensive line in the running game the entire night against the Ducks was splendid in getting guys like the senior, Terris Jones-Grisby, 27 carries, 115 yards, and then also the freshman in just his 5th collegiate game, Nick Wilson, very impressive again behind that offensive front, 13 carries for 92 yards. So Oregon showing us fatal flaws all over the place in not being able to protect Mariota, not being able to stop the run up front against Arizona's offensive line. So the two huge mistakes, Mariota not protecting the football on what would have been the last drive of the football game. And again, Scooby Wright, remember the name. He leads this team in tackles. He makes big plays. He made the big play defensively with the interception last year, 2013, in the desert with a big upset win over Oregon at the time. And then also the play by Tony Washington on the downside for Oregon that denied Oregon with the stop. And Arizona got the second chance for the touchdown to make it 31-24. Again, Oregon lost 2 starting offensive linemen going into the Washington State game. It showed up there, but they were able to survive Pullman 31-24. But ironically, well, I think it was 38-31. They lose this one. And again, do not score 30 points, and that seems to be the barrier that they have to overcome to win football games and secure the wins, because when they don't, In the last several years, they are 0-4. So let's talk about this, because we predetermine in college football who's eligible for the national championship. It's Alabama, it's Oklahoma, it's Ohio State, it's Michigan State, it's Oregon, it's Stanford, it's UCLA. Those are the teams this year, along with Florida State and some others, Auburn, and of course anyone who survives the SEC in particular. But right now, there's going to be no talk coming off this win. And I understand it, because they still have very, very difficult games to get through. But there should be talk about Arizona competing for a national championship. What happens if Arizona, now 5-0, they haven't played anyone up to this game? Of course, now they've got the most impressive win in college football for the entire season through going on 6 weeks. But going up to this point, the non-conference schedule is horrible for Arizona, but they play in the Pac-12. So just like an Alabama team that didn't really play anyone other than West Virginia in the SEC, but we give them credit for getting through the SEC. Arizona, we want to see them win these games, and nobody expects them to go through undefeated. But hey, they're 5-0, and now they've got USC and UCLA 2 of the next 3 weeks. So Arizona should vault up the charts. They should be in the top 10. If Baylor's in the top 10, having played no one, then Arizona should certainly be in the top 10, having beaten an okay Cal team and winning at Oregon. They need to be ranked ahead of Baylor until Baylor beats at least Oklahoma, if not Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Arizona State, or Kansas State and some other teams. Arizona should be ranked in the top 10. They should be ranked ahead of Baylor. They've done so much more than Baylor in winning these last 2 games, and specifically this game at Oregon. Why not Arizona in the top 10, if not higher than that? They've done more than a lot of teams ranked in the top 10, and specifically Baylor. But for right now, the night belongs to Anu Solomon. We didn't mention him. The redshirt freshman quarterback played his rear end off in the second half, played extremely well, took care of the football, showed us a ton, made some outstanding plays, was a heady football player out there, even in the face of an Oregon rush that got to him many times. He made the smart decisions. And again, the Arizona ground game was specifically very strong in this game. So Oregon goes down. The Ducks are not out of it, depending on what happens elsewhere. But this is not one we expected them to lose. This hurts Michigan State. Of course, the Spartans wanted Oregon to run the table so that loss looked much better than it would right now. So Oregon still controls its destiny in the Pac-12 North, but this a huge blow to their national championship hopes, and it should be. For Arizona, they can dream. Would love to hear what you have to say about Arizona, Oregon. First major upset involving top 5 teams here in college football in 2014. Right here on Mark Rogers TV.